Osama bin Mohammed bin Awad bin Laden was born on March 10th, 1957, in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. He was the 17th of 52 children, born to Mohammed bin Awad bin Laden, a billionaire construction magnate of Yemeni descent, and Hamida al-Attas, a Syrian-born woman. The bin Laden family rose to prominence through the Saudi bin Laden Group, the largest construction company in Saudi Arabia, which played a significant role in the development of the country's infrastructure. Osama bin Laden grew up in a life of affluence, attending elite schools in Jeddah. He was deeply influenced by the strict Wahhabi interpretation of Islam that was prevalent in Saudi Arabia. His early education included both religious and secular studies. Bin Laden attended King Abdulaziz University in Jeddah, where he studied economics and business administration. During this time, he became increasingly religious and developed a strong interest in Islamic and political issues, influenced by the works of Islamist thinkers like Sayyid Qutb, Afghanistan, and the Soviet invasion. The turning point in bin Laden's life came in 1979, with the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. Viewing the invasion as an assault on Islam, bin Laden decided to join the Afghan Mujahideen, who were fighting against the Soviet forces. He used his considerable wealth and resources to fund the jihad, providing money, construction equipment, and fighters. In 1984, bin Laden and Palestinian cleric Abdullah Azzam founded the Maktab al-Khidmat, Mak, or Services Office, to support the Mujahideen by raising funds, recruiting fighters, and providing logistical support. Bin Laden's involvement in Afghanistan enhanced his reputation as a jihadist leader. He established training camps and fought in several battles, although his direct combat role has been debated. By the late 1980s, he had formed a network of fighters and supporters that extended across many countries. Formation of Al-Qaeda. In 1988, toward the end of the Soviet-Afghan War, bin Laden and a group of his close associates, including Ayman al-Zawahiri, formed Al-Qaeda, meaning the base. Al-Qaeda was initially intended to continue the jihadist struggle by supporting Islamic fighters worldwide and to challenge what bin Laden saw as corrupt and oppressive regimes in the Muslim world, as well as their Western supporters. The network was characterized by its decentralized structure, which allowed it to operate globally and evade easy detection. Bin Laden's vision for Al-Qaeda included creating a pan-Islamic caliphate, expelling non-Muslim forces from Muslim lands, and opposing Western influence in the Middle East. Rise to infamy and the 1990. During the early 1990s, bin Laden's focus shifted from local conflicts to a broader anti-Western agenda. In 1991, he was expelled from Saudi Arabia due to his outspoken opposition to the Saudi government's reliance on American military support during the Gulf War. He moved to Sudan, where he was welcomed by the Islamist government of Omar al-Bashir. There, bin Laden established businesses, training camps, and a network of supporters. In Sudan, Al-Qaeda expanded its operations, carrying out attacks against U.S. interests, such as the 1992 bombing of a hotel in Aden, Yemen, where U.S. soldiers were staying, and the 1993 Black Hawk Down incident in Somalia, where Al-Qaeda is believed to have provided training and support to Somali militias. Facing international pressure, the Sudanese government expelled bin Laden in 1996. He returned to Afghanistan, where he was sheltered by the Taliban regime. This period marked the intensification of Al-Qaeda's activities against the United States. Declaration of war and the embassy bombings. In 1996, bin Laden issued a declaration of jihad against the United States, which he repeated more vehemently in a 1998 fatwa published under the banner of the World Islamic Front for Jihad against Jews and Crusaders. This fatwa called for Muslims to kill Americans and their allies wherever they could find them, marking a clear escalation in Al-Qaeda's war against the West. On August 7, 1998, Al-Qaeda carried out simultaneous truck bombings at the U.S. embassies in Nairobi, Kenya, and Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. The bombings killed over 200 people and injured thousands, drawing global attention to bin Laden and Al-Qaeda. In response, the United States launched cruise missile strikes on Al-Qaeda training camps in Afghanistan and a pharmaceutical factory in Sudan, believed to be linked to bin Laden. The attack on the USS Cole and the path to 9/11. Al-Qaeda continued its campaign against U.S. targets, culminating in the October 12, 2000, suicide bombing of the USS Cole in the Yemeni port of Aden. The attack killed 17 U.S. sailors and was a stark demonstration of Al-Qaeda's growing capabilities and audacity. Meanwhile, bin Laden and his associates were planning an even more audacious attack. Throughout the late 1990s and into 2001, Al-Qaeda operatives trained and prepared for a large-scale operation on U.S. soil. This planning culminated in the September 11, 2001 attacks, where 19 Al-Qaeda terrorists hijacked 4 commercial airliners, crashing 2 into the World Trade Center towers in New York City, 1 into the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia, and the 4th into a field in Pennsylvania after passengers attempted to overcome the hijackers. The 9/11 attacks killed nearly 3,000 people and were the deadliest terrorist attacks in history. They had a profound impact on global politics, leading to the U.S. invasion of Afghanistan in October 2001, with the goal of dismantling Al-Qaeda and capturing or killing bin Laden. The hunt for bin Laden. Following the U.S. invasion, bin Laden went into hiding. Despite an intensive manhunt, he managed to evade capture for nearly a decade. He was believed to be moving between various locations in the rugged, mountainous regions along the Afghanistan-Pakistan border. During this time, bin Laden continued to release video and audio messages, urging Muslims to continue the jihad against the United States and its allies. The search for bin Laden involved extensive intelligence operations, including signals intelligence, human intelligence, and cooperation with Pakistani authorities. It was a complex and often frustrating effort, marked by occasional near misses and persistent uncertainty about his exact whereabouts. Death and legacy. On May 2, 2011, U.S. Navy SEALs conducted a covert raid on a compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan, where bin Laden was believed to be hiding. The operation, codenamed Operation Neptune Spear, resulted in bin Laden's death. He was shot and killed after a brief firefight, and his body was subsequently buried at sea to prevent his grave from becoming a shrine. Bin Laden's death was hailed as a major victory in the fight against terrorism, but it did not mark the end of Al-Qaeda or global jihadist movements. Al-Qaeda, while significantly weakened, continued to operate under new leadership, and various offshoots and affiliates remained active across the Middle East, Africa, and beyond. Osama bin Laden's life and actions had a profound and lasting impact on the world. He transformed Al-Qaeda into a global terrorist network, orchestrated some of the deadliest attacks in history, and provoked a global response that reshaped international relations and security policies. His legacy is a contentious and complex one, marked by both the devastation of his actions and the ongoing challenges in addressing the root causes of extremism and terrorism.